Welcome to Aniki with Ben.
And Jonathan, I guess, if we're going by that.
I think we are. So I clearly haven't seen Hyouka.
Okay.
And so I had some preconceptions.
Okay, well, first off, when is Hyouka even from? I forget.
Like 2 years ago?
Hyouka.
So
It's got to be longer than that. It's got to be like 3 at this point.
2013 then?
It's been a while. Let's see here. It started airing in April, so spring season of 2012.
Oh, wow.
So there you go. The year the world ended.
4 years ago.
Yeah, well, not quite, but approaching 4 years ago. It is based on light novels from Japan. Very popular ones, I hear.
Well, they're always very popular, or else they wouldn't get a show.
Exactly. They wouldn't get a show if it didn't.
Yeah.
Currently on my anime list, it has a score of 8.2 and is ranked number 305.
Oh, good.
And popularity number 57. How popularity and ranked are different, I do not know, but there you go.
I just assumed they're all meaningless numbers.
Yeah, basically.
So I noted that A, it's Kyoto Animation.
It is probably Kyoto Animation. I never pay much attention to directors and stuff, but that is me. I take each show as a standalone and try not to worry about too much other than, was the animation amazing or was it awful?
I normally don't pay attention to that either, unless I'm trying to decide, what am I going to watch this season? And then I'll just go by the animation house. So, like, Madhouse is typically, and Kyoto Animation has a reputation for me of having certain types of shows.
That is fair. They are, however, all pretty.
They are pretty, and they've gotten prettier apparently because I haven't watched Kyoto Animation probably since Haruhi, I'm guessing.
Well, Haruhi's pretty, and it did make them $1 billion, so it would make sense that they got prettier after Haruhi. And after the debauch season 2 of that show.
What, you didn't like Indelsate?
Well, see, now I've been over this several times with my friends. There's a good way to have done Endless 8 and a bad way. They chose the bad way. The proper way to do Endless 8 is to give different animation teams, sub-teams, a copy of the events that must happen during the episode, and then get like 3 or 4 different takes on the same events in the episode. That would be brilliant. They chose not to do that and just did the same thing 8 times because they are monsters.
Well, since we're going off on this tangent, I heard that the reason they did Endless 8 that way is because they wanted...
To save money?
Well, to save money.
See how long the fans would keep watching it?
Also true. But it was more because apparently the android, I forget her name, the android in the book actually lived that day for about 22,000 years.
Oh.
So we're supposed to feel her pain. So it's a little like watching Jigoko Shoujo. You don't really get that. It's the same story over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
And then you find out at the end, oh, that was the point.
Yes, but that makes horrible TV.
So it's very niche. Yeah.
But it's bad for television. However, all that aside, all we care about right now is Hyouka.
Right. Hyouka. So I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the title. I'm looking at the screenshots, the promotional art. So I'm thinking, it's normal Kyoto Animation. I'm probably not going to like the animation very much, but whatever. I'm going to give it a shot.
At least it doesn't have Shaft's head tilts.
But more importantly, I suspect that the character development isn't probably going to be very strong.
Oh, golly. You are going to be very wrong.
Yeah, well, any development present is probably going to be drama-related, probably feel contrived. I'm willing to be told that's wrong. That's fine. And then as far as the plot goes, again, you can maybe hint if I'm right or not, but I'm guessing It's probably going to be episodic slice of life. Probably doesn't go anywhere, like a overarching mega plot. There might be small itty-bitty plots.
Yeah, there are small plots. Most of the plots take 2 episodes or more. There's the main plot of the first 10 or so episodes. 6? Oh, well. There's sort of an overarching plot of the mystery of what Hyouka means.
Yes, I was going to get to that, actually.
Yeah, but that's not till later on in the show, anyway.
So I'm guessing there's probably a dramatic thing maybe halfway through, like an actual mystery takes place, and they all have to get through it somehow.
Oh, golly, it depends on how you want to define actual mystery. Even the mystery of what does Hyouka mean is a rather minor mystery in the grand scheme of things.
But I'm suspecting that whatever mystery may take place, if there is one, it probably may not affect everybody too much. But it's 22 episodes, so it has enough room to go somewhere I don't expect. So,
yeah,
I'm hoping
I think it's just long enough.
All right, so why don't you start?
So what I did is I just took notes going over the whole episode.
Okay.
And I quickly realized that since Hyouka is a mystery show, that's actually a pain because in order to, especially knowing where it's going, I write out a lot of the stuff that's going to be pertinent to the mystery. So I basically have 2 short things here. Guess we can just dive into it. The episode definitely starts the way like every anime starts, right?
At least every Kyoto animation one, yeah.
It's always the start of school. I mean, it's what you do. It starts with, our main character, good old Oreki, Hotaro, which, Hotaro? Or Hotaro?
It's Hotaro, like long O at the end.
Nuts. Well, at least you should appreciate that since it's very similar to Sailor Saturn. But,
yes, and I'm going to get those confused this whole time.
However, I digress. It's okay. You can just say Oreki. That's the way he's called 90 times percent in the show.
Oreki, all right.
99 times percent. It starts with him walking to school. It is super stereotype time, right? Cherry blossoms, etc., etc. But I wrote here that that's with a reason. There's a reason the opening of this show is outrageously stereotypical, and it's because of good old Oreki's sweet monologue at the beginning about how most students want a rose-colored school life of, the dream. You have the after-school activities.
Mm-hmm.
You have the summer romances. And he's like, yeah, whatever. Prime of your life. Who cares?
He doesn't want any part of that.
He wants 0 part of that. He wants to have a normal life. Normal life. What is his... He has a motto. What is his motto? If you don't have to do it, he won't do it. And if you do have to do it quick.
Yeah, so my first thought while watching him deliver his little spiel, talking to, what's his name? Shitoshi? Or Satoshi. So he's speaking to Satoshi in the room. And he's going through this monologue of rose-colored life, blah, blah, blah. And all I can think of, this guy sounds a lot like the guy from the book Kokoro.
Oh, he kind of does. Or he sounds like the Scrivener in American literature. Bartleby.
Yes.
Yeah, that is Oreki's character at the beginning of the show. He is definitely Bartleby the Scrivener. Or the guy from Kokoro. Yeah, no, that's good. He's not even in any clubs. How crazy is that? Everybody's in a club in Japanese high school.
Except the other 2 girls in the room. And Satoshi.
No. Because, well, they are in clubs. They're just not at the club yet.
I see.
Satoshi is assuming that Oreki isn't in a club. But shock of all shocks, Hotaru is in a club. Or at least he's about to be. And what club is he going to be in?
The Classics.
Classics Club. What is Classics Club?
I don't know, actually.
No one really knows. This is one of the sort of things about the show. It's just Classics Club. It's just sort of the name. Satoshi is completely shocked by this. Why would Hotaro Oreki be in a club when his entire point in life is to conserve energy and not do a thing? Why would he be in a club?
Why would he be in a club? All these questions arise.
Infinite questions. Good thing we have infinite answers. He basically has to join the club because his big sister wants him to.
Because his big sister might put him in a headlock.
Basically. So, turns out that Classics Club which will die this year because it doesn't have any new members. And since Oreki's older sister was in Classics Club, she doesn't want that to happen. She wants Classics Club to continue and its traditions to live on. Therefore, she cons her younger brother into joining it just to keep it alive.
Right. And I like how she's keeping tabs on her old high school club all the way from China.
Was it China? I think she's somewhere else right now.
Or she might be in India. She's in one of the 2 places.
Oh, yeah, she's overseas. That's sort of her shtick. She's overseas, but she's keeping club on her school because that's important.
I guess she's got him on Facebook or something.
Oh, probably.
Of course, he then goes upstairs after he gets the key. Yeah. Although I thought it was a little weird that he didn't just go in and get the key. He had to wait for the teachers to leave. Maybe there's something to that. I don't know.
First off, he has to monologue.
Well, he's monologuing the whole show forever.
Of course, he's monologuing. That's his job. He is going to monologue this. And I think that's part of the reason he waits for the teachers to leave is more of his his pathos, if you will. It is him not wanting to exert any amount of energy. And if he were to walk in while there are teachers in there, they might ask him questions. He might have to strike up a conversation. So he's just going to wait. So that's what he does. He just hangs out in the hallway until there's an opportunity to go in and not having to mess with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes in, gets the key, goes upstairs, unlocks the door, slides it open, and there's somebody already in there.
And immediately, my mind is thinking, hey, how come she's in here but the door's locked?
Oh, see, good job. You figured it out.
I'm immediately thinking that.
Oh, yeah. Good. The show has done its job well.
Yeah, my first thought is, oh, look, a plot hole. But lo, we have cut to the nub of the show already.
We have. That there is a stupid mystery that we are going to figure out.
Yes. But first,
some mind-blowing walking animation as he walks into this room.
Yes.
Which is really good.
It is really good. I do like that. But there's so much build up to this girl turning around.
Yeah.
And she looks exactly like every other girl, except she has purple eyes.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, this is Kyoto Animation, and generally when they do a school show, they tend to keep it a little more realistic. They don't tend to go wacky with their character designs. So, and this is also a light novel, and when it's a light novel adaptation, if it is a more serious light novel, they tend to muted character designs. Nothing too out there.
Yeah.
No one with crazy blue hair. It's not the year 20XD6.
So she turns around.
Yeah.
And suddenly we're thinking, well, these two are clearly going to get together. That's my first thought. Very first
fair.
thought.
Well, he can't say no to her, much to his own chagrin.
Yes. And he's curious about this. Why can't he say no to those pretty purple eyes?
Because she's got pretty purple eyes. Anyway, she turns around, she smiles, and he's just like, uh-huh? He's confused. He's like, how are you in here? That's weird. I had to unlock the door. And then we cut to the opening. The opening's pretty mediocre. The first half of the season's op and end are both not that great.
Yeah.
If you ask me. But it's pretty okay.
I took the op as a time to go ahead and write down the thoughts that I was already having before I forgot them.
That's good. That's good. See, I use a pause button.
I also do that.
Okay.
But the op seemed a good time to stop watching it.
To write some stuff down? Oh, that's fair. That's reasonable.
I did have a note that I did find interesting because I don't like the character designs because that's just not my thing, but the animation has definitely gotten better, especially with the lighting effects.
Oh yeah, no, this show has great animation. The animation's all super solid.
I'm just looking at these setting suns in Japanese schools, and it always makes me feel like I've missed out on an entire culture.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Well, they do love their mono no aware, the Japanese.
Yeah.
The awareness of passing of things. That's why they like fall, because everything's dying. The sadder it can be, the better.
What season is it in this show when we start?
Well, it's spring. School just started.
Ah, that's right.
Hence the Sakura Sakurai at the beginning. We always start. Because Japan starts in the spring, not the fall, because their school system makes more sense than ours. Anyway, we get to the title card, The Revival of the Classics Club and Its Traditions, Episode 1.
But were its traditions what we were about to expect?
Its tradition. If its traditions are solving short, silly mysteries, then you would be correct. I say silly, but they're not really silly. They're just more pointless. They're the pointless stuff in everyday life that you would normally be like, well, that's a little weird, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. And instead, we worry about it.
It's not even that. It's stuff that you're like, oh, well, my drink is gone. I guess I'll get another one.
I guess I'll get another one. I mean, to be fair, Oreki does try to do that here later on in about 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So we come back. They're right where we left off before the opening. The girl at the window knows Oreki's name already.
Yes. He
has no idea who she is. She introduces herself. She's Chitanda Eru. Or Chitanda, as we will know her for most of the show. So Oreki's like, wait, we're not in the same class. It's like, oh, you're in class 1A, I'm in 1D. How could we possibly know each other? It must be through electives, music class.
Music class.
He figures all that out. So if that's one dumb mystery down, we're like 10 minutes into the show, and we're one dumb mystery down.
Right. And she has already decided that, hey, because I sit, was it behind him? I think it's behind him. She sits behind him in music class. clearly personal space no longer has any meaning in this relationship that we've just formed.
I don't think Chitanda knows the meaning of
A personal space?
Yeah, she does not.
Because she gets right up in his face. It's like, wait a minute. If you have the key, how did I get in this room?
Oh, you're missing something. You're missing something important to the overall plot of the entire show.
What's that?
Why did she join Classics Club?
Oh.
Oh.
I had not even considered that for a second.
Well, she does say. She says she has joined it for personal reasons.
I assumed that she... No, wait, she couldn't have overheard that Oreki was going to join it.
No, she couldn't. Because no one knew. He had just filled out the form. More mysteries upon mysteries.
Maybe she is the traditions.
Maybe. Having heard that she has joined Classics Club, Oreki is like, awesome. Classics Club saved. I'm bouncing.
I'm out.
He is ready to go. I'm out. Done my job. I can mail my sister later. Classics Club stays for another year. Oreki tells Chitanda to lock up the door as she leaves, and life will be good. But why can't she lock the door when she leaves?
Because she does not have the key.
She has no key. She has no key. And Oreki's like, now, hold on a minute. If you don't have the key, how'd you get in? The door wasn't, but it was locked and you don't have the key. How did you get in? She's like, oh, it wasn't locked when she showed up, but it was locked when Oreki showed up.
But she's only been here for 3 minutes.
3 minutes? She didn't lock it. What's up? He's had the key. What a mystery. Truly, Fushigi. It's so mysterious. The door was locked.
But then who arrives? Who has been peeping on this private and most intimate of conversations? It's Satoshi.
Oreki's best friend from middle school.
Yeah.
Satoshi. Not Satoshi Kon. He's dead. Just regular Satoshi.
And Satoshi, I'm quickly figuring out, is that one chipper friend that shows up in almost every high school show.
He is the chipper friend.
I have never met someone like this in my entire life.
Well, I mean, our high school existence is very different from Japanese high school existence.
Sure. But I'm just talking about in general. I have never met anyone that chipper and optimistic. Every time he walks in the room, something is amazing.
Yeah. Well, he's not always going to be this way. He has several bummers.
Mm-hmm.
No bummers, please. But he has some bummers. But we'll not worry about his bummers yet. All we care about right now is Satoshi is the friend who looks through school with rose-colored glasses. And we get some introductions. Chitanda's like, who's this guy? Oreki's like, this is Satoshi, fake man of the world, is how Oreki introduces Satoshi, which is actually amazing. And from now on, we get Satoshi as a sort of character. He doesn't like make up idioms and stuff. What he does is he exaggerates things to make the world more interesting. Mm-hmm. Everything around him has to be more interesting. Because Chitanda introduces herself, and Satoshi flips his lid. She's like, Chitanda? Or Oreki's like, what? Who cares about Chitanda? I don't know this name.
And he's like, oh, but I have a list that I prepared earlier.
They're called the rising powers of our prefecture. Because as you go down the list, they get more and more powerful and rich. And Chitanda is, third on the list of 4. And they're like, yeah, that's not really a thing. You've made this up. Those are powerful, rich families, but this whole rising powers thing, I don't know where you're getting that from.
He's like, oh, busted. Sorry.
Busted. The world needs to be more interesting than it is, and that's what Satoshi's out to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, Chitanda is from the rich family in town. They own mostly farmland. It is the Chitanda family's eldest daughter who's a top student. She's the oldest daughter of the clan. She's a top student, well known for doing well on tests, all that wonderful, important Japan stuff.
Yeah.
And with all of those introductions out of the way,
let's get back to the locked door.
We get back to our stupid mystery of why the door was locked. We bring us up to speed about this locked door in a very cute kanji sequence. Yeah, it's a cute little thing. We're like, oh, it was open then, but now it's locked. They changed a little bit of kanji in the middle to change the word. It's a cute bit of Japanese wordplay.
I like the little little kanjis and 2 of her now.
Some cute kanji stuff to catch us up on the mystery of the newly locked door.
Mm-hmm.
Araki's like, this is easy. She forgot she locked it. And Satoshi's like, no. The school doors can only be locked from the inside or outside with a key. You have to have the key no matter how you lock it.
And then we find out that Satoshi is actually a database of completely useless knowledge.
That's his other thing. He not only is he fake man of the world, but he's self-described database, which he says in English, which is awesome.
At least he did not sing a song about it. I appreciate that.
What show sings a song about a database?
About living in a database?
Oh,
Log Horizon?
that's Log Horizon. Log Horizon's good. For a minute there, I was like, is that Sword Art Online? I was like, I hope not, because that show sucks.
And then following that, we finally get what we were all waiting for, I think. Were you waiting for it? Because I know I was waiting for it.
I'm always waiting for it. Well, hold on. Before we do that, before we get to
The catchphrase?
what we're all waiting for. Yeah, before we get to the catchphrase. It's very important. Because before the catchphrase, Oreki is like, no one cares about this stupid mystery. I'm still leaving.
I just want to go home.
But the catchphrase. This stupid mystery has ignited something within Chitanda. A deep longing, not for Oreki, we get to that later. A deep longing to know.
She has to know.
She must know. And she utters her most famous phrase. What is Chitanda's most famous phrase?
I'm not going to butcher the Japanese, but she is curious.
She is curious. Kini narimasu. That's what she always says.
Kini narimasu.
Kini narimasu. She is curious.
She's not just exerting curiosity right now. She has become the embodiment.
She has become the embodiment of curiosity. There's this weird scene here. It never really happens anywhere else in the show.
Really? Because I was really looking forward to this happening every single time.
Yeah, no.
She has what I have written down as a curiosity-gasm that just is all-encompassing. Flowers of feminine purity and just boundless information-seeking have entangled him in her web. And she repeats, I'm curious.
Kini narimasu. Yeah, there's this weird fantasy sequence where her hair grows super long and starts blooming flowers and wraps up Oreki in it. It's really weird. It really only happens here. And there's another little fantasy sequence later on in the episode. And really only this episode has these weird little fantasy moments.
Oh, I am so sad to learn that.
Yeah, there are little segue things in these episodes. Lots of cute little inserts, but usually they have to do with the mysteries. They're usually like, let's explain this part of the mystery with a cool little graphic, like the little kanji sequence earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But only in this episode do we get this weird fantasy of Chitanda wrapping Oreki up in her hair. It's strange.
And see, it just says so much about what the rest of the show is going to be like, because he is now fully engrossed, whether he wants to or not, in her tangled web of fabricated lies.
He wants to say no, but he cannot say no to her kini narimasu.
And I've paused it here just after, as Satoshi is interrupting this display, and he has this look of a man who has died inside.
Satoshi or Oreki?
Oreki is completely defeated.
Oh, he has that look a lot. He is like, he's got to help.
Yeah.
So Satoshi pops up saying that he can probably help as he knows a bunch of stupid stuff. And while Satoshi knows a bunch of stupid stuff, he can't put any of it together. But Oreki is some sort of great genius at solving these dumb little problems. When he thinks about stuff, he can always come up with a plausible explanation. That is what Satoshi says of Oreki. And we should believe him because they went to middle school together.
I believe everybody that I went to middle school together. Just saying.
Yeah. No, if you ask somebody I went to middle school with about me, you would get 100% true facts. And I have friends who blew up a car. But we're not going to worry about that right now. Right now, we're going to worry about Oreki grilling Chitanda for the facts. Here are the facts we get out of Chitanda. She entered the room 3 minutes before Oreki did. 3 minutes. So it was not long for this door to get locked.
Mm-hmm.
She also says that there was a rattling sound under the floor for the past little while.
Right.
So as an aside, Satoshi mentions, "Oh, I can't hear that. Chitanda must have really good hearing."
But she then says, I don't hear it. You have to feel it.
Oh yeah,
With a cut to their feet.
yeah. Let's see. And then Oreki starts twirling his hair. Yeah, he does that whenever he starts thinking. He starts twisting that front bit of fuzz in his hair.
Would it be called an ahoge in his case?
No, because his whole hair does that.
Just a mop head.
Yeah. Well, again, he conserves energy, and what is a bigger waste of time than combing one's hair?
Or just flipping it to the side, even.
Yeah.
He does not care.
Well, so he spins his hair for a while, and basically a light bulb goes on. He just thinks about it, and he comes up with a conclusion, and he starts marching downstairs. He's like, "Oh, I think I know what this is. We're going downstairs."
So he takes Scooby-Doo and the gang downstairs.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Chitanda is Scooby-Doo for this whole show. It's great.
And he points to the poor old man who's just doing his job.
Yep.
And says, there is your dastardly deed doer.
There is your door locker. Because basically what he's doing is the janitor's going through all the rooms on a floor. He's unlocking all of them, doing whatever he needs to do in them, and then he goes back through and locks them all again.
Mm-hmm.
And Chitanda's like, how did you know that? And Orki's like, well, it's pretty easy. I have the real key, so there's only one. There's only one of the real keys for the door. But a master key would be able to unlock and lock all the doors in the entire school. So it had to be like a maintenance guy. Makes perfect sense when you think about it.
Sure.
And Chitanda is so impressed. She is like, this man, Oreki.
Are you a wizard?
Are you a wizard? He is a flippin' genius. But then we have a bit of another mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Oreki's like, how didn't you hear yourself get locked in? Do you remember why she didn't remember herself getting locked in?
I do remember why. Because it didn't make any frigging sense.
Yeah.
She didn't hear herself, and we saw that the janitor is not exactly discreet in locking the doors. She didn't hear the door being locked because she was looking outside at a building.
Yeah. She was glancing outside their club room. The club room that they have is the geography room on like the third floor of the building, and it overlooks
what looks to be like an old
small
tea
archaic
room?
building. It looks kind of like a tea room. I think it's just a storage
Jojo
shed.
or something.
Yeah,
it has that look.
It's like an old. Yeah, it's got a very old look to it. This becomes important later, but yes, that's what she was looking about.
I figured because it's a very detailed building.
Yeah. It doesn't fit in with the rest of the school at all. The rest of the school is very Japanese modern high school, but there's this one building out in the courtyard that they say is rather old, that is built in an older style. Looks very traditional.
Right.
So then they're at their lockers, and they're like, today was pretty cool. Satoshi, are you in to stay in stupid Classics Club? Chitanda asks. And Satoshi's like, absolutely. If this is what we're going to do after school for the rest of forever, sign me up.
I cannot think of a better way of spending my high school time.
He's already in 2 clubs. He's in sewing club, and he's part of the just the school government. The standard school government. He's in those clubs already, but he's like, sign me up for Stupid Mystery Club. I am so in. But what about Oreki? Because, he doesn't have to be. There's now 2 club members. Day officially saved as far as his sister goes. He's like, can I go? I don't want to be in the club. He doesn't say this out loud, but you definitely get that feeling. But unfortunately, Chitanda looks at him and asks, and without even thinking, he just hands over his enrollment form to him.
Of course. What else is he going to do?
Exactly.
It's those eyes. There's something...
He can't stop it.
There's some dark power in those eyes.
There's a dark power in Chitanda's purple eyes.
Uh-huh.
She's part demon. She's part dog demon, and he falls down a well.
I think that's another show altogether.
That's another show?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. So then they start walking home, and Oreki is bidding for farewell to his peaceful, energy-conserving life. But he's like, no, he can fight this. He can stay conserving energy. But he does admit that Chitanda will pose a huge problem.
Well, yeah, I think that's obvious to everybody.
And then
she is a problem.
She is a problem. And then the show's over, right?
Oh, no, you've forgotten, 2 other mysteries completely.
Oh, that's right.
2 whole mysteries.
See, I thought when we were first talking about this show, I was like, oh, you must have seen Episode 2, because Ben was talking about
The
an
poster
episode where
mystery.
there's a missing poster. There's a poster mystery. And it's like, oh, that's episode 2. It's not. It's episode 1. Episode 1 is just broken into 2 micro mystery chunks.
Yeah, it's part 2.
So, how does part 2 start off?
Oh, he's just sitting there. He's forgotten his homework at home, but he totally did it. He's forgotten it at home. He's doing his homework now with Satoshi ragging him. And he knows at some point she will appear.
Now, why will Chitanda appear? What is everybody talking about in Class 1A that would make Chitanda come find Oreki today?
Well, as we all know, the music room has recently become infested with the girl from The Ring.
Yeah, Sadako has taken up residence in...
And she's also taken up an interest in classical music played through the speakers.
Yeah. So the second half super starts. I love it because it just starts with a Satoshi monologue describing 7 mysteries.
The 7 mysteries, of which this is the second.
This is the second. For some reason, every school in Japan has its 7 mysteries.
Oh, of course.
Everything. Oh, yeah. Satoshi starts describing it as like a dark evening. The sun is just setting. And the bummer, Oreki, is like, yeah, no, it's super... If this happened yesterday, it was raining yesterday. And Satoshi's like, you're a massive bummer. Okay, it was a dark and stormy night. And starts all over again. So the facts of this stupid mystery that he poses to Oreki is that yesterday a girl was walking up to the music room. There was music playing. It is Bach's something or another. Moonlight Sonata. That's not Bach. That's Mozart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mozart's Midnight Sonata was playing. So she entered the room. The music stopped. The room is completely closed up. The curtains are drawn. The piano is there, but no one's playing it. And then from the floor rises, with disheveled hair and bloodshot eyes, a ghost.
I was pretty freaked out by that point. I have to admit.
It's a pretty good little sequence, honestly. Like, they do a good job with the ghost and their hands coming up out of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's really crazy. But yeah, then we go back to Oreki, working on his homework and whatnot. And Satoshi says that, the story is mostly true, because every kid in Class 1A is talking about it. Every single one of them. Now remember that Oreki and Satoshi are not in 1A. They are in 1D. Very different.
But who is in 1A?
Who is in 1A? That is Chitanda.
So, of course, she's heard this.
She has heard this.
And she's going to be making a call pretty soon.
In 2 minutes to come see Oreki. So quickly, Oreki's thinking is, first off, where did you see this? When did you hear this story and whatnot? They're like, 1A. He's like, oh no. Chitanda's going to come and ask about this. And he's like, wait a minute, Satoshi. What is 7 mystery number 1? And then we cut. We don't get to learn what mystery number 1 is. Not yet. We have to wait.
Is there a mystery number 1?
Is there a mystery number 1? We're about to find out, because Chitanda comes bursting into the room moments later, because we've got a cut, and then she's in. Oreki seems a little panicked at this. He glances hurriedly up at Chitanda. She's like, oh no. And Chitanda looks super excited. She's about ready to explode. And she's like, Oreki. And as soon as she's like, Oreki himself is like, you came at a perfect time, Chitanda, because Satoshi has a sweet story for you.
And Satoshi knows all about it.
Satoshi knows everything. He's the database. He knows everything that's going on in the school. Chitanda, assuming it's going to be the ghost story, starts to finish it for him. And Oreki's like, no, this isn't about ghosts. This is about a secret club.
Way more important.
Way more important. It's about a secret club. And then Satoshi regales them with 7 mysteries. Number 1, the mystery of
the Spider Silk Society.
I have the Silk Spider Society, but same difference. And the idea is this. Okay, so there are billboards with recruitment posters everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be an authorized club to put your flyers up, because the student body government's super strict about that sort of thing. But somehow, Satoshi says, every year a flyer from a club no one knows about shows up. Super weird. All it has on there is a place and a time of meeting. The secret club is recruiting, with no club officially on the books at all. Super weird. As he's regaling this tale, Oreki glances up to see if Chitanda is interested. She is. Especially once Satoshi is like, no one knows anything about this secret club except that's called the Silk Spider Society. And there's probably even a flyer for it this year. But it's not been found yet. Now, while all this is going on, Oreki's still working on his homework. And by the time that Satoshi finishes the story, he's super done. Which is a super clever plan on the part of our favorite boy. Good old laceabout Oreki.
But the whole time that he's been doing his homework, he's been giving Chitanda some eyes.
Some glances to see if she's biting. And she does. As soon as Satoshi finishes his tale about the mystery of the stupid poster, what does she say?
She's curious.
She's curious.
She needs to know.
Does she wrap him up in his hair this time?
No.
No. Thankfully. Nothing weird like that. So as soon as she says that, he's like, sweet, yeah, good, we're going. I'm done with my homework. Let's go. Let's go hunt down this poster. Which is super weird. Why is Oreki showing initiative? He doesn't seem the type to do that. They start walking downstairs. Satoshi's like, there's like 30 billboards. Where could it be? And Oreki's like, instead of searching all of them, we should just think about where it might be. Where would they be? Where would it be? Where would you put it? He asked Chitanda straight up, where in the world would you put a flyer for the Silk Spider Society?
Of course, she's thinking, all wrong. All wrong. She's thinking, oh, it's in a far, far away place. He's like, oh, wait, no. You know where
Billboard,
it is?
back corner.
No, why don't you hide it in plain sight by the front door?
By the front door, which happens to be on our way out of the building. Just BT dubs.
Yeah, that is super convenient.
Super convenient that they would hide it somewhere like that. How awesome.
So they go down to look.
They go down and look to the main billboard. There's this cool little scene where Oreki feels so much energy coming off of this board, so much wasted, unconserved energy from all these kids trying too hard and all their try-hard clubs. Meanwhile, Chitanda is looking all over the board trying to find this flyer, and there's not one. And she's like, well, poop. Why isn't there one here? And Oreki's like, yeah, no, of course, you're not going to be able to see it immediately. That would be too easy. It wouldn't be immediately present, or Satoshi and his goons would come and tear it down.
While he's talking about this and having her look very closely at the other end of the board, he's getting quite intimate with one of the other posters. He's like touching it, feeling it, making sure this is the right one, he says.
He lifts it up, and boom, there it is.
There it is.
Under one of the posters, hidden in plain sight.
Well, how about that?
How about that?
He was right the whole time.
The whole time. Chitanda's
how
like,
how does he do that?
Yeah, exactly. And Chitanda's like, how would you? Why would it be there? I was really thinking it'd be somewhere out of the ordinary, like in a far away corner of the school where nobody goes. Oreki's like, that's a naive way of thinking. A smart club would do the opposite of what everybody would expect them to do. Basically, he gives this wonderful quote that the inexperienced draw attention by acting differently. And that's why you would act like everybody else in this situation. Like it delights her, but she's not completely satisfied. Like that curiosity just wasn't completely used.
Right.
But that's a little more of an in-depth character reading.
As Satoshi and Oreki are walking home, we learn the truth of the mystery.
The truth of the whole matter.
The truth of the truth.
It was an inside job the whole time. Oreki planned this whole mystery for Chitanda to get wrapped up in.
On the fly, I should point out.
On the fly. He was like, now hold on, you're talking about this music room thing? I'm going to have to go figure that out. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make this other, stupider mystery, get her curious in that, and do that instead. All just to distract Chitanda from the piano rumor. And Satoshi's like, why would you do that? Surely not because that piano rumor was too hard.
He's like, oh no, that's easy. It's just some tired student who doesn't want to go home yet, puts on some little Mozart, lies down, has a nap.
Goes to sleep, has a nap, wakes up, bloodshot eyes, scraggly hair, makes perfect sense. The reason I did all this is because the music room's on the other side of the school, and the main billboard is on the way out.
Bam.
Boom. Mic drop, I wrote in my notes.
All he wanted to do was to go home.
All he wanted to do was go home faster. Because remember, if you have to do it, get over it quick.
Mm-hmm.
He repeats this mantra to himself, saying about it, but Satoshi's not having any of it. Satoshi's actually going to call him out on it. It's going to be like, look, if you're going to say that stuff, say it with pride. Because basically, Oreki seems half convinced by his own mantra today.
It's just an excuse for him.
Yeah. Still, it seems like it was a lot of work to amuse Chitanda. Why not just say you didn't care about the piano mystery at all? That would have been easy. Satoshi is basically just calling out Oreki's BS in a hard way. Oreki grumps about this, and Satoshi's like, hey, normal Oreki wouldn't go through all this trouble. What did you just say? Oh yeah, the inexperienced draw attention to themselves by acting differently.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho ho, and Oreki's basically like, yeah, I basically can't say no to Chitanda. He doesn't come out and say it, but he kind of comes out and says it.
It's those eyes.
It's those, I want to say baby blues because it's such a great phrase, but they're not. They're
Purple.
passionate. No, that's no good. And with that,
The episode is over.
episode's over. We've gone through 2 stupid mysteries in 30 minutes. They were just so important to solve.
3, if you think about it.
3, if you think about it, it's true. The second half of that episode was a twofer. We had the stupid mystery of classical music in the music room, and we had the stupid mystery of that one we just made up right now.
So at the end, I'm sitting here thinking a couple of things. One, Hotaro has issues, like ones he doesn't even know he has. I mean, that's pretty clear from the end with his thing with Satoshi.
Oh yeah,
and he's right. That is a lot of effort. Maybe, I guess, to place a thing instead of going to the music room.
yeah, because Satoshi's like, all you've done is you've put off Chitanda for later, and that's just going to get you in a whole heap of trouble later. Because I don't think you realize just how curious she can be.
Because now you've given her one mystery from before, which may have just been a one-off. You could have pawned that off as a one-time thing.
Yep.
Like, oh yeah, I got lucky that one time, whatever.
But now you've made it like a thing. Now it's your thing, Oreki. From now on, Classics Club is all about solving stupid mysteries.
And it's all your fault.
It's all your fault, because you decided to humor her. Shouldn't have done it.
So another thing I noticed is I've actually seen this episode. I don't know where, and I knew the moment I saw the thing about, I saw the hair, the crazy hair scene.
Yeah, that does stick with you.
It's like, I've seen this part. Maybe I just saw that as a screen cap, but then the music room mystery that came up. I'm like, no, I have definitely seen this whole thing.
Well, at least the rest of the series will be new to you. Now, before we get to that, though, do we need to talk about the super bad ending theme to the first part of this show?
I didn't watch the super bad ending theme to the first part of the show.
It's really bad.
It looked mediocre at best. So I just sort of stopped.
So the ending, it's not that the song's bad, it's that the ending animation is awful. It has nothing to do with the show. It is the 2 female characters of the show in white lingerie flopping about on a giant pillow.
So it is. I am looking at it right now.
I know, it's super weird. Now, here's the thing. You would expect this from, say, Bakemonogatari or one of these fan servicey shows.
Mm-hmm.
But Hyouka's not like that at all.
I don't know, though. I mean, that's clearly what this is showing. It's delivering false promises.
It kind of is. Because it's just like, no, this show is not like that at all. There's zero fan service in the actual show. It's like super infantilizing and sexualizing these 2 teenage girls that have nothing of that in the entire show. It's very strange, and we have to deal with it to like 6 to 8 episodes before we get ending 2, which is awesome. It's like the ending here, like the animation team that was told to do it, like had no idea what the show or the content was about at all, and we're just like, yeah, it's a high school show. And like, there are girl characters. They're like, well, yeah, most high school shows have girl characters. It's like, make them sexy, make them sexy, make them flop around on a pillow in their underwear. And somebody's like, yeah, fund it, yeah, it'll get all the otaku to buy our DVDs and Blu-rays.
That was their dastardly plan.
I guess it's a super weird ending, very strange, and I watched more of it for this little recording than I have every time I've watched the show. Because every other time I watch the show, I'm just like, and skip.
It looks super skippable.
It makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't like it. It's bad.
Mm-hmm.
So
there we
are. That is Hyouka. It's a really good show, and you enjoyed it. Are you ready to watch more? Are you excited for dumb mysteries?
I don't think excited is exactly the right word.
Are you imminently pleased by solving stupid mysteries?
I'm going to tolerate it for now. We will see what happens.
We have to watch through at least, I think it's like episode 17, which is the mystery of why that kid was called to the office. It is the best episode. Hands down.
All right.
The mystery of why the kid got called to the office. It is sweet. I won't tell you anything other than the name of that mystery.
That sounds pretty hardcore mystery, if I'm honest.
It's amazing, and it's done super well. It's like episode 17 or episode 20. Mystery of why did the kid get called to the office after school.
Mm-hmm.
Right off the bat. So instead of another school anime, we decided for the second part of this, what we're going to be watching is the best anime of all time, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 1, Phantom Blood, Episode 1, Dio the Invader.
And boy, does he invade.
Boy, does Dio invade, and boy, do we start off right. So, for those of you who have no idea what JoJo Bizarre's Adventure is, you may remember back at the beginnings of the internet, years and years ago, there were these gifs of a guy throwing a steamroller on someone. This is that show.
Best show.
It is the best show. It is manly guys doing manly things, fighting manly fights. And it's in an amazing heavy line art style.
That is something I very much appreciated about this.
Yeah, it's in a great stylistic. It's stylistic in the same way Akagi is stylistic, but in a different style.
Yeah, it's like someone took old style comic book art, made it more garish, and then animated it.
Yeah, it looks really great. If you don't like the style, it's sort of understandable, but it is very vibrant, very heavy line art, bold poppy colors on top of each other, sound effects written out in giant splash frames,
and over dramatic everything.
Oh, yes.
So let me start with my preconceptions on this show before I even looked at it.
What was your preconceptions about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 1, Phantom Blood, Episode 1, Dio the Invader?
I sat there thinking about it, and I realized I didn't have any. Because I've heard so much about this show, and the things I've heard have been so completely off the wall and differing from one another that I didn't really have an opinion of it.
Which is about how it should be.
It's like, what is this about? Craziness. That's what it's about.
Yeah, exactly. What I like to say is, in the same way that you could say anything you wanted to describe a plot in a Marvel comic or a DC comic, go ahead. Say anything that's outrageous.
Kiwi birds are invading right now.
Sure. And I would be like, sure, yeah, I believe that happened in a comic book somewhere in Marvel Universe. Sure, why not? Probably Captain America fights them off or something. Sure, yeah, this makes sense. Maybe they're cyborgs. Maybe the Penguin decided that more birds are better, so I'm going to put chips in them and they're going to invade. Like, I would believe that.
Mm-hmm.
JoJo's that same way. You could say anything in the world, the most ridiculous thing you could pick out, and just say, it happened in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'd be like, yeah, sure, yeah, no, that sounds perfectly plausible.
Yeah, I probably did.
And it was probably awesome. That's the difference, is you would be like, oh, if it happened in JoJo, I'm sure they did it in a super amazing way.
So all I can assume from what I've heard is that I'm expecting a lot of action, a lot of complete non sequiturs.
Not so much non sequiturs. Oh, the music is amazing.
Super 80s.
Super 80s, yeah. No, that's
and
true.
the most non sparkly of vampires.
I don't know about that. Dio's pretty sparkly.
In the anime way, he's sparkly.
Yeah, he's pretty. He's kind of Bishonen in the way that super muscle men can be Bishonen, but yeah,
he's Gar if anything.
He is mega Gar. So let's get started, right? So JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 1, Phantom Blood, Episode 1, Dio the Invader, starts off on a dark and stormy night, England, 1868.
As they all do.
As they all do. Nice and stereotypical. If one show, if Hyouka started in the most stereotypical way a Japanese show does, this is like the polar opposite. Dark and stormy night, England, 1800s. A carriage crash with people just being effed up by wood.
just impaled, just right through their face.
Blood, everything's gross and crushed.
So we get this old, scraggly tooth guy in a hat.
Yeah. Dario Brando and his wife show up on the scene. Woman notices there's a kid in the carriage. The dude, stone cold, doesn't care about that. He starts looting the bodies.
Oh, yeah. Free money. Why not?
Free money, why not? The guys who crashed this were rich. I'm going to steal their rings and all their sweet stuff. There's a suitcase next to the guy lying on the ground. He opens it. There's a super creepy mask inside. He's like, that's not worth money. Throws it aside. Whatever. Don't care. And then the guy he's looting isn't dead.
No. He's like, hey, you seem like an all right guy.
You seem like an honest individual. Thank you for rescuing me.
Let me ask you your name.
Yeah, he's like, I am Dario Brando, and I am definitely rescuing you.
I don't have your ring in my hand or anything like that.
I'm definitely not looting your body of your dead wife.
Yeah, your wife is super dead, but your kid, look, we saved him. Everything is great.
The man who is hurt on the ground introduces himself as George Joestar I. The shady dude saving him, in massive quotation marks, is a guy named Dario Brando. Mr. Joestar ends this little scene by saying he owes Dario a debt for Dario saving his life.
We're not told what the debt is or how it will be paid.
We then cut with no theme because this episode is themeless. It's extra long. We cut to 12 years later in the Joestar mansion in merry old England.
Okay, so time out. I had forgotten by the end of this episode that the two boys, Jojo and Dio, who show up, are only 12 years old.
Don't worry about that too much because we aged them up like 5 years in the next episode, and they are manly as F. Yeah. Don't worry about it. The ages that they are going to give us in the show are meaningless. They're 12. Okay, the episode says they are 12. They're 12.
I will not question the show. The show is all knowing.
It is a stylistic choice to depict them in this way.
Right.
One could argue that by the end of this episode, they are maybe 13, but they are 12-year-old boys. So in front of the Joestar mansion, we are introduced to the young Jojo. This is George Joestar's son and his dog, Danny. We love Danny, and so does Jojo. Jojo's living a happy life. Jojo, by the way, is short for Jonathan Joestar, a name I can appreciate. The very first Jojo we're going to be talking about in this first arc, Phantom Blood, is Jonathan Joestar. We take the J-O from Jonathan and the J-O from Joestar to get Jojo. So we get this nice little scene of Jojo playing with his loving dog companion, Danny. And from that, we cut to Dario in a Dickinsonian slum of an apartment with his son, Dio.
And at this point, we meet Dio. We find out his deal. I'm suspecting that at this point, he's not a vampire.
You would be right.
But he is 100% jerk.
He is 100% awesome.
And let me just say that every person I've talked to, including you.
Yeah.
I've asked about Dio, and they've said, Dio is a massive jerk.
He is a bad man.
They describe some things. You know, Dio did this, Dio did that. And you think on the inside, oh, please, he's probably bad.
No, Dio is a bad dude.
He's clearly a villain. He's the terrible man, the antagonist of the piece. But then I watched this episode, and I'm thinking,
and you're like, Dio's a jerk.
How is he that much of a jerk?
He is 100% evil. This show is about Jojo, the good guy, beating Dio, the bad guy. Now, we get a little loose with the definition of good guy, but we go whole hog on the definition of bad guy. Because we start this, we are introducing Dio, our main villain, and we're in that little apartment. Dario Brando is sick in bed. He is dying. Dio's across the room reading a book, and Stone Cold does not care his dad is dying and is reading. He's just like, whatever. His dad's like, go get me alcohol so I don't feel awful. And Dio's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, he doesn't care at all.
Yeah, we continue this montage with how pure and awesome Jojo's life is and how horrible Dio's life is. Jojo is having the high life, but he's bad at table manners. Jojo is shown being reckless and a little less than gentlemanly, while Dio is shown to be intelligent, shrewd, and not completely evil. There's a scene where Dio is beating up a punk at chess, and the guy he beats at chess for money is just like, whatever, kid, and shoves his face in gross, greasy London food. Meanwhile, we see Jojo fighting for a girl's honor, and he just gets owned as well.
Of course, he's not the best guy, because
Jojo, oh no,
yeah, after he's fought these two brigands, and they've run away after having laughed at him for getting beat up, the girl's like, "Oh, thank you so much for saving me." He's like, "Oh, hang on a second. No. I did not save you for you. I saved you because that's what people like me do.
I was saving you to be a true gentleman," in all caps.
So you can just shut up.
Yeah, whatever. One way or the other, Dario dies, and as he's dying, he tells Dio to go cash in on the debt he has with the Joestars. Go be the Joestars' adopted son.
And Dio's like, "Sure, I'll go do that. That seems fine."
He does go do that, but not before he's at his father's grave. And Dio's like, "Yeah, you want me to be the most rich and powerful man in the world? Yeah, I'm going to do that, but not because of you, because you were a horrible father." And he spits on his father's grave.
A lovely gentleman. The first of many indications that perhaps Dio isn't the best guy.
Dude, yeah. He's like, "Yeah, I will get all the riches, all the money, all the power in the most ruthless way possible, because the only person I care about is me, Dio Brando." We get a wonderful voiceover, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure being the tale of two men and the mask that alters their fate. You may ask who these two men are.
Could it be
Jojo and Dio? I'm not sure. Let's watch to find out.
Indeed.
So that whole little montage takes place of what would normally be our opening theme. Like I said, we've gone completely themeless in this episode to really set it up. We get the splash of this is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 1, Phantom Blood, Episode 1, Dio the Invader. Once we pan away from that, we get Dio making the most awesome entrance to Chateau JoJo ever. He pops out of a chariot,
of his carriage,
jumps into the air, does a sweet pose.
And Jojo walks up. He's like,
Jojo's like, "Oh,
hey,
cool.
You seem like a cool guy.
You seem like a cool bro.
What are you here for?" And Dio lets him know what he's here for and kicks his dog.
Yeah. So Jojo is like, "Let's be buds. Here comes my dog, Danny, the best dog in the world." Danny comes running up, and Dio frickin' knees the dog in the face.
The dog is down for the count.
Start of the episode, Dio has kicked a dog. We need a counter that's how many times Dio is a bad man. Because our count is already at 12. And it's 6 minutes into the show. And Dio has been a bad man 12 times.
So then Dio walks in after...
Dio sizes up JoJo's reaction to this and is like, "Yeah, no.
Yeah, you're worthless.
Pushover. This is going to be awesome."
So then JoJo's dad walks out.
Yeah, Papa Jojo.
Papa Jojo walks out and says, "What's going on out here?" He's like, "This jackass just kicked my dog."
And Dio's like, "Dude, it scared me."
Yeah, he's running at me. What am I going to do?
Yeah, it was all reflex. He does a polite apology, super hyper polite. He's like, "I acted on reflex. I'm sorry." And Papa's like, "Okay, let's not worry about it. Let's move on." And he welcomes Dio as part of the family. Jojo acts super polite, super proper. He's like, "Let's put this behind it." And Jojo's like, "Okay, sure. I understand. If a strange dog I didn't know ran up to me, I might act on reflex as well. Super sorry." Dio notices the mask on the wall, but surely that won't be important, so we'll not worry about it too much now.
I do like how it's just on the wall. It just happens to be there.
Super creepy mask. Don't worry about the super creepy mask. It's totally fine.
And I really like how Papa Jojo has apparently read the letter
Yeah.
and notice that this is indeed the Brando child.
Yeah.
And without further questioning the situation, he's like, "Oh yeah, you're my son now.
Yeah.
Full rights, full honors, the whole thing."
George Joestar the first is a true gentleman, all caps, and that's what a true gentleman does.
He honors his letters from 12 years ago.
Yeah, no, he honors his debts, man. He's super rich. He'll honor his debts, and if his debts are adopting Dio, the coolest dude in the world, then that's what we'll do. So Papa Joestar goes upstairs. Dio puts down his bag, and Jojo's like, "Sweet, time to start anew. My dad says we're the same age. We're totally going to get along. This is going to be awesome." So he goes to go pick up Dio's bag, and Dio's like, No, you're not going to pick up my bag. Keep your dirty paws to yourself, Jojo.
He basically uses his arm as a nutcracker on Jojo's head.
Yeah, he just knocks the wind out of Jojo by elbowing him in the gut. So we're, 13? Dio is not a great dude.
No. He has already proven himself not to be the most trustworthy of friends.
Yeah. Dio is like, dude, I only look out for number one, and the number one is me. I don't take nothing from nobody. And Jojo's like, I want to be friends. And Dio's like, yeah, I don't want to be friends. I don't care. And you know what else? That dog didn't scare me. I just hate dogs. I hate how loyal and bootlicking they are. So keep your dog away from me, or I'll kick him some more. So, Dio hates dogs because they're too friendly and love you too much. He also hates daisies and teddy bears. Papa Joestar is just like, nothing to see here. Come on upstairs. We cut into the narrator saying that when Dio shows up, Jojo's life goes from awesome to being crap in a handbasket.
He is the most of miserables.
Yeah. We get another sweet montage of Dio being better than Jojo at everything. Dio is better at math. Dio is better at manners. And he's better at boxing.
Oh man, is he better at boxing.
He is better at boxing. So we get this sweet scene. They've set up a boxing ring in one of these yards.
As one does.
And as one does in the 1800s, I guess. I mean, I guess it's like PE, but it's a little bit cooler than dodgeball. It's boxing.
Mm-hmm. And Jojo is already, everyone knows he's a pretty good boxer.
He's a pretty good boxer.
He thinks he's a pretty good boxer, and he's going to get an opponent pretty soon. But as the crowd clears to show his new opponent, who could it be? Oh, it's Dio again.
Dio Brando, coolest dude in the universe. So they start fighting. Jojo's pretty good, but Dio is like, you know where I learned how to fight? The streets.
So he punches him.
He punches him flat on the face, square in the nose, not like a jaw, not like an uppercut, straight in the face. And he's like, you know what I'm going to do on my follow-through?
And then we hear in his head, I've knocked him out, but while I'm at it, I will jam my thumb in his eye.
My thumb in his eye like a punk. So he does. All the while, everybody is watching this, and they're like, wow, Jojo sucks at boxing. You know who doesn't suck at boxing?
Dio.
Dio is awesome. We love Dio.
Dio, will you teach us how to box like that? And he's like, sure, no problem. I do that all the time. But you know what? I'll teach you all. But don't tell Jojo, because he can't keep a secret.
He can't keep a secret. He's a snitch.
And everyone is like, what?
What? You live with him. You must know.
Exactly. He can't keep a secret.
Dio has this great bit with Jojo looking forlorn and away, and Dio's inner monologue is like, yes, loneliness will make a man hollow. Bit by bit, I will steal Jojo's life, and when I'm adult, he will have nothing, and I will have everything.
It is the best monologue.
I think Dio's pretty cool.
He's clearly a man who knows what his goals are.
Yeah, he is motivated.
He is motivated. He's efficient.
Goal-oriented.
I don't see anything wrong with him at this point.
Yeah, Dio's pretty great. So we get another break, and when we come back, we learn that none of his friends want anything to do with Jojo anymore. Dio is spreading rumors, trying to destroy Jojo, everything else.
Yeah, don't talk to that snitch, because now he's a snitch.
Don't talk to that snitch. Don't talk to Jojo, just ignore Jojo. And Jojo's like flipping out by a stream. He like curses Dio. He's super mad, but he's like, dude, at least I still have my dog Danny. Best dog in the world. Danny for best dog in the world?
Who overhears this? But the girl from before.
With the girl from before?
What's her name? Erina?
Yeah, Erina.
And Jojo's like, oh, you're the girl from before. You left me grapes.
Awesome. And my handkerchief that I bled all over when I saved you from those ruffians.
And then within 30 seconds, they have a whirlwind romance.
A miracle romance. But however, I do want to point out, he feeds his dog one of the grapes. I don't think dogs can eat grapes.
They can't.
Yeah, I think that's bad for them.
Well,
Google,
it could be
can
worse.
Dogs eat grapes.
There
I
are
know
worse
cats
things that could happen to dogs than eating a grape, I think.
First off, did you know there is a candogeats.com?
I'm not surprised.
Grapes and raisins are very bad for dogs and can be fatal. So I guess that's put one on Jojo for feeding his dog grapes. Yeah, don't do that. They're very dangerous.
Dog don't mind.
Yeah, they can cause kidney failure. Grapes are bad.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Danny doesn't care because Danny's the best dog in the world and can stomach a grape.
So, Erina is there.
Yeah, we get a sweet montage of Jojo's budding romance in these dark times.
They have a romance. Everything is great.
They carve each other's name into a tree.
And Dio's walking by one day, and he sees Erina. He's like, she's pretty fine. And he happens to walk down to the stream a little bit and sees, both her and Jojo's names into the tree.
Carved in this tree.
And he says to himself, this cannot stand.
This cannot stand. He's like, how could it be? I knew something was wrong, says Dio. He's been happy where he should have been miserable. And the only answer to this was a miracle whirlwind romance. So he saddles up to good old Erina with some thugs, because he's got to have toadies, because he's Dio. And Dio's nothing if not a charismatic guy who has endless toadies.
And he sees Erina walking down the street.
Yeah, he just swoops her up in his arms and full-on mouth kisses her.
Oh, yeah.
Stealing Erina's first kiss.
And she is super not into it.
Against everyone's will except his own. He throws her down with a puddle when he's done with this kiss. And the thugs are like, Dio is the best person in the world.
You're the man. You're amazing. But then the other one notices, hey, wait a minute. That girl.
What's Erina's doing?
She's using the puddle nasty horse manure water to wash off your kiss from her lips.
Oh, and they're like, there's a stream nearby. It could be clean water. But no, the kiss is so worthless. Washing out my mouth with a puddle still makes it cleaner. And Dio is frickin' owed. He is super mad at this. And he does what any self-respecting gentleman would do. Backhands her into the puddle again. Because Dio is a bad dude.
I think he has proven himself at this point to not be a gentleman.
Dio is not a very nice man.
So then he goes home. And what happens?
Yeah. So Dio's whole plan here was he wanted to deny Jojo all happiness. So he steals Erina's first kiss so that Erina would start avoiding Jojo.
Which works.
It works super well. But Jojo notices something is up when he sees Erina starting to avoid him. And some of Dio's toys are around, and they're like, lol. And Jojo's like, oh, I know why this has happened. It's implied he gets the toadies to tell him what happened, and Jojo is having none of it. He is a man on fire and comes running into the house, ready to frickin' wail on Dio.
And Dio is just having a cup of tea.
He's having a cup of tea. He is one smooth mofo. And while Jojo is just charging at him, and Dio's like, oh, yeah, so I heard, I see you might have heard something that might have happened to Erina. And Jojo is all, I won't let you disrespect her like this. And he goes and...
we have a fight.
Yeah. Jojo gets owned in yet another fight, quickly and handily.
But he does hold his own.
Well, yeah, Jojo is on the ground, and he quickly realizes that A, he can't beat Dio, but 2, he can't lose this fight. If he loses this fight, he will be in Dio's shadow forever.
This is the pivotal moment.
This is the pivotal moment. He has to fight for Aaron his honor. He has to fight for himself. He has to fight for everything that is not Dio Brando. Dio is down for this too. Jacket in the air, posing. He is ready. Dio kicks at Jojo. Jojo just grabs Dio's head and freaking headbutts him in the face. And Jojo just starts going ham on Dio. He does one sweet uppercut, and Dio is down.
He's down for the count. But hang on. The
BT
bell
dubs.
is ringing.
Hold on.
It's
BT dubs. BT dubs. Blood splashed on that creepy mask, and the mask does something weird.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It does the little spider legs thing.
Yeah, there might be something up with that mask. Just saying.
It's probably just a normal thing on the
Yeah, it's
wall.
super normal. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But the bell rings,
Oh, yeah.
and who stops the fight? But old George.
George Joestar. Well, first off, Dio pulls a knife out on Jojo and is about ready to just kill him before Papa shows up. Papa's like, boys will be boys. I can't stop that. But Jojo, you can't beat Dio when they're down.
Seriously, man, you just need to be more of a gentleman, like Dio.
Like Dio. Dio, the most perfect gentleman ever, who only plays fair. The boys are like grr at each other. They get the sweet like anime eyes. They're staring each other down. And we cut to a butler putting some stuff in the Joestar Mansion incinerator.
Oh, but there's a box in here, amongst the leaves and other refuse.
There's just a box. He's like, yeah, whatever. Maid probably put it in there. He lights his cigarette, starts up the incinerator. He's cool. And he starts walking away. And he hears banging from inside the incinerator.
There's something in
There's
there.
something in there. There's something being burnt alive.
But what could it be? Who could it be?
I don't know. But we cut to Jojo. He's pining after Aaron again. And then Jojo comes back home after seeing her, and there's a grave. Who's in the grave?
Who is in the grave? Tell me.
The best dog in the world, Danny.
No, not Danny. Oh,
Dio.
You've gone too far.
Dio has burned Jojo's dog to death alive. Now, Papa Joestar says that the police think it was burglars who just wanted the dog out of the way.
Maybe it was burglars. Could it be burglars? Or does Jojo know different?
Or is it just Dio? Because, of course, Dio burns a dog. Because that's how Dio rolls. With that, we cut to Dio monologuing a bit. Because we have to end on a Dio monologue. Dio has figured out that Jojo is that type. That if you beat him up, the more you beat him up, the stronger he gets. The stronger, more determined he gets. Dio realizes that that's his own fault. He needs to keep his cool if he's going to take on Jojo.
Need to keep his anger in check. That's his weakness.
If he can do that, he can win. We cut to a picture of the creepy mask, and then we get the credits.
Which are pretty awesome.
Well, first off, the credits are Roundabout by Yes, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some really cool like Aztec imagery.
With like the blood going through like all the pipes and stuff.
Yeah. Like these
It's pretty amazing. It's one of the
sweet
best
Aztec
I've seen.
hieroglyphs. It's really good. It's not particularly visually interesting after you've seen it like 30 times, but yeah, it's good. But Roundabout is playing while this is happening, so you always watch the whole credit sequence.
Oh yeah.
Because Roundabout is like a 40-minute song, so they just cut it up and keep using it. And that's where we end JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 1, Phantom Blood, Episode 1, Dio the Invader.
So I really like how fast-paced the episode is. It does not waste like any time at all.
Now, looking at our record count, we spent like an hour talking about Hyouka and like 45 minutes talking about JoJo.
That's pretty accurate.
JoJo's pretty fast.
I like how it's like a tale almost. It doesn't spend a whole lot of time on unnecessary details like, oh, what kind of feelings does he have? It doesn't matter.
No, we know his feelings. He tells you his feelings with his fists.
Dio hates JoJo. Jojo hates Dio. That's it.
Dio and Jojo are the rivalry to end all rivalries. We spend like 5 arcs of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure dealing with the fallout of Jonathan Joestar and Dio's rivalry.
So one question I did have, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't really made clear in the episode, is at the beginning, they're in that carriage.
Yeah.
And blood gets on that mask.
Yeah.
On accident. And it's like, oh, spider legs, and bounces out.
Yep.
And then later, there's a mask on the wall in the Joestar estate.
Mm-hmm. It's the same mask.
Is it the same mask?
Yeah.
Because I assumed from the first scene that the first mask popped out of the briefcase and fell down into a ravine.
You could say that, but it would be akin to assuming that they never got that baby out of the carriage, and that baby is not Jonathan Joestar.
Fair enough.
It'd be the same logical leap, but no, it's the same mask from the beginning of the show. It might be important. It may be what is known in the biz as a MacGuffin.
Really?
Yeah, there were air quotes there, sarcastic ones.
So I'm guessing that in probably the next episode, Dio puts on the mask.
You know, I don't actually remember. I think he does some stuff with the mask. I don't know if he puts it on next episode or not.
But eventually he'll put it on.
Yeah, no, that definitely happens.
Makes sense.
Dio is one bad dude.
That is definitely a show that I want to continue on because.
Well, yeah,
holy crap.
It's JoJo. JoJo's awesome.
Manly men doing manly things.
Manly men doing manly things.
And also drinking tea.
And drinking tea, where the women are wayfish and need to be rescued by manly men doing manly things.
Just the one so far.
Yeah, just the one. That's usually how it is. There's usually just the one.
Yeah, there's been 2 females, one at the very beginning, but then she dies off screen.
And she dies.
And then we have Erina, who gets all the sexual assault. She gets all that, and then she gets normal physical assault afterwards.
Yeah. The show is not great with female characters, but it knows its target demographic, which is definitely the knight in white armor type, and that's pretty much all it goes for.
Yeah.
If you are looking for a feminist piece, JoJo is not.
All right.
So
there we go.
Yeah, there you have it. There's Hyouka 1 and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure 1. Next time, we will discuss Hyouka 2 and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 1 Phantom Blood Episode 2.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening. If you'd like to get in touch with us to ask questions, make comments, or just tell us how wrong we are, you can reach us on Facebook and Twitter at Aniki Podcast, or via email at podcast@aniki.fm. See you next time.